Here we go. Archery hunters, listen up. If you find yourself in the heart of King County, do yourself a favor and stop in at Rock Creek Archery, located in Tukwila. They have everything you need if you're just beginning to the sport or you've been shooting for 20 years, even an indoor shooting range. Or check them out at rockcreekarchery.com. Hey everybody, if you are looking for a game call that is elk, turkey, deer, predator calls, waterfowl calls, we highly recommend PhillipsGameCalls.com. Professional grade game calls made for every hunter. Welcome back to the Ridgeline Hunting Podcast, brought to you by Phelps Game Calls, with your hosts, David Crane and David Sandana. All right, David Sandana, we are back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it is episode 50. That is right, episode 50. It seems like yesterday was episode 1. It literally does. How long has it been? 13 months, 14 months, something like that? Yeah. We did take some time off here in the last couple episodes. There was a break in between like 48 and 49 and now 49 and 50. Life has just been busy. So yeah, that kind of stuff happens. Well, you know what we do is we work for a living. Yeah. So it's one of those things. We have a 9 to 5. And it's okay. It's good because this is episode 50. So whatever's happened between 1 and 50, now we have new things on the horizon. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I put my cup here. I'll give a shout out here. You can see it. That's my Stoneman GTP sticker. Shout out to GTP. If anybody doesn't know what that is, Global Tile Posse. I'm a professional tiler by trade, so I pretty much have stickers of tiling on all my stuff, except for this laptop. Yeah, I mean, you have a shirt. Yeah, that's all I do. I mean, besides hunting. When it's your life, dude, like that's what you do. That's what you do for a living. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know why we don't have an ad for your business, but we're not going to go there. You didn't want to do that. I didn't want to, yeah. But, we do work with quite a bit of companies, or not quite a bit, but a few. And one of them is Phelps Game Calls. We love using Phelps game calls, and we use them for pretty much almost all of our calls that we have are Phelps. And then also on episode 49, we started working with the Crazy Elk Company. Yes, that is right. So if you want to go to crazyelkcompany.com, and on checkout, you can use Ridgeline 20. You'll get 20% off on your purchase, and that's capital R. So easy to remember. That's pretty cool. So get yourself a tag wallet. It's a great little device that you can use for putting your tags in. I mean, we got one right here on display. Dave's got it on one of his whitetail sheds. The tag wallet's easy to use. It zips on and off of your antler, or you can mount it to a leg. If I could hold this shed, if it was on a head, it'd be easier. You push the button, it comes off. Yeah, reusable. That is absolutely fantastic. It zips up, super easy. Zips shut, and then when you want to put it back on, it just says zip tie with a oops. And that's on the ground. Well, that's what you get for trying to do it one-handed. It's not that easy. It's not one-handed operation. Let me grab that real quick. Yeah, well, Dave grabs that. You can go there, get the tag wallet, get a shirt, get a hat. They have a wide variety of swag that you can get. And it's a local company right here in Washington State. I mean, Ross lives like 2 miles away from here. So perfect. Yeah. So get yourself some Crazy Elk Company stuff. Today, I think we're going to try to do something different. We went on YouTube Live earlier for the first time just to announce the 50th episode giveaway. We have 3 Phelps game calls. They're all mouth reads. Mm-hmm. We're going to give these away intermittently. We're going to do them on YouTube. We're going to try to get a winner each time. If we don't, we're just going to give them away throughout the week. Yeah, and you'll be able to see those on either Facebook or Instagram. Yeah, so if we don't give them away tonight during our little live interactions, because you're going to see it again through just the regular episode. But if you are watching live when we are doing those, you're going to have an opportunity to win. So
if you see me checking my phone, it's because I'm getting these notifications here. So we got all the social sites going, trying to get people onto the YouTube to watch what's going on. And then we'll be doing some giveaways.
Yeah, and it would be a lot easier if we had 1,000 subscribers, which we don't have yet, because then we would be able to just do this live right now.
Stream it straight through.
Yeah, but we're about close to halfway to our 1,000 subscribers. Also with that, if we do end up getting 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, that's December 31st, we're giving away a bow.
Oh, I forgot about the bow.
Yeah. With Rock Creek Archery. Yeah.
What was that bow? It was a.
It's an elite basin, and it goes from like 20 pounds to 70 pounds.
So it can fit just about anybody.
Anybody, a wide range. And hopefully with Rock Creek Archery, we'll be able to do something like this every year. But we also need people to be hitting the subscribe button and, hit the bell for notifications. So if we do a live, or if we put out a new episode of the podcast or our videos, our hunting videos, you'll be able to see those. So that helps us out, and that helps us, contribute back to you. Yeah, that's pretty much why we do this. We just want to give back to our hunting community and help everybody out.
All good things.
Yep, definitely.
It's awesome. Well, we just had some interesting things happen here with our hunting this year. We just had our draws that came out. Mm-hmm. Did you draw?
No.
Neither did I. Neither did my daughter. But it was her first time putting in. So she got the joy of clicking that tab to see her special hunts and being let down with not successful or unsuccessful.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get used to it young.
I said 20 years from now, you'll be real happy when you you get drawn for anything, second deer tag, whatever.
Yeah.
So we just had the draws came out. Mm-hmm. We also, what do we have going on? There's the land access permits went for sale.
Yep.
And that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, those are kind of sporadic, depending on. So our large one is Weyerhaeuser. Weyerhaeuser owns like half our state wilderness. And they give out, or you have to purchase these passes. So, each region goes on sale on certain dates. And the one that we usually hunt went on sale. I'm not saying where. Went on sale.
Don't even say when it went on sale, Dave.
Well, anyways.
Last month.
We didn't get those passes. So, this year, which I wasn't going to get the pass anyways, I believe they're just a little bit too expensive, and I don't like how they're doing it. It's almost like a draw system. So you get put in a queue, and then you just randomly get selected on this pass that you want to try to buy. And I don't like that.
It's harder because they used to have like first come, first serve.
Yeah. So don't be lazy. Be on the button. Get ready to buy.
But it crashed the system all the time. So they had to come up with a solution. And I think the solution works very well. When you do the queuing system, they have 15 minutes. Whoever's there within that 15 minutes, they cut it off usually at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Mm-hmm. At 7 p.m. Pacific time, everybody that's in the waiting room gets moved into.
Have you talked to Luke?
No. Yeah, I talked to him. He says he's coming on this 27th.
Yeah, but did he get a Weyerhaeuser? Or
he did.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to figure that out.
So we're gonna Luke, the guy who's on episode 1.
Yep.
He's coming back in 5 days or 6 days from now. He'll be here for a couple weeks, and he's leaving. Then he's coming back for elk hunting season.
Yeah.
Then so they put you in this virtual waiting room. Mm-hmm. You move from there to the checkout line, basically, and you get a random number, just kind of like they started doing with the Black Friday type shopping.
It's more like Idaho elk.
Do they do it that same way?
I think so.
Well, they say it's an equity based thing, but I don't know, man. It seems like as soon as you're in the waiting room, like I got the veil. I told you I got the veil one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I got the veil tag.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I take Soph rifle hunting over there.
Oh, that's
Plus,
cool.
it's close. I figured if I go, weeknight, I can head out for a bear. In August, you don't have to drive all the way down to BFE.
Oh, well, that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Well, you know where to find me on any night I'm off at 2:00. I'll be going to the mountain. So it does work pretty smooth. The part for me that's hard to deal with is I've been hunting the same area for 20 plus 5 years about. And I remember when it was no gates, you could just drive in. There was not very many signs telling you where to go. This is like 1997, the first time I ever hunted there. The hard part, I just laugh because now there's very, very small opportunity at being successful in the harvest compared to how it used to be. In the time when there was so many elk in this area, it was ridiculous. The good thing there wasn't an iPhone, because it would have been every single person would have been there, and there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, but in the later 2000s, it was in magazines.
Well, they missed the boat still. It wasn't as good as it was. Like, it was amazing. Like, it was like Estes Park, Colorado hunting. I mean, it was that many elk slammed in there. And we had some incredible times. We were young and dumb. We didn't have the access to the information people had nowadays. Like, knowing somebody who could call an elk was a kind of rare thing if you were just a kid growing up. If you weren't directly involved with someone who was an elk hunter, you just heard, like, I learned how to call an elk from the guy at Big 5. And we thought it was funny as heck with the way he was describing it to us. We were like, are you kidding me? We had this old little scary elk cow call, and he's telling us how it's happened. He's like, you go like this, meow, meow, come here, big boy, meow, meow, meow. Oh, yeah, that's right, meow, meow. And I was like, this guy's out of his mind. And we just always laughed about that for like, till now. So 25 years later, we still chuckle about that when we talk about that first time. But if they had this draw system, if they didn't have this draw system and it was like how it was then.
Yeah, free for all.
Dude, I had seen seasons there from 03 to 05. I think 03, we went rifle hunting one time. The only time I hunted rifle in there for elk. Opening morning, that was probably 7:30-ish in the morning. We were already tagged out. 6x6 bull. Got it to the truck. We were coming out. Department of Fish and Wildlife had the main line coming out. They had it blocked off with cones. So you had to pull into
that. Like a check.
Yeah, they were checking, right? But in the field, everybody had a bull in the back of their truck. I mean, there was a game warden checking tags. And when we were getting our bull and he wanted to check our tag, because we had to go down this culvert, we were lifting up down, because we had to cross the creek, go through this thicket. And then we pulled up this culvert where we'd back the truck down to this off the road there. And he was standing there checking and he's looking around and 2 trucks came by and they had 2 elk in each truck. And then he's like, whoa, wait a minute. And he tried to stop him. He's like, forget it. He was done checking tags.
Dang.
He had spent his morning.
First thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning, he was already done. He's like, forget it. I must have seen at the check station probably more than 60 trucks with elk in it. Dang. That first morning.
That's insane.
It literally is insane. And then they started doing when they were trying to run the numbers down, due to the hoof rot or whatever the reasons were, overpopulation, they started giving out 200 cow tags a year for after the season.
Yeah, there was some for muzzleloader that started in January. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. That was like right after I started hunting. So it was like 2011 or 2012 or something, maybe even 2013. They were doing a lot of muzzleloader hunts after January.
Just trying to bring the numbers down.
For cow tags, and that was it. Only cow.
Yep. And it started getting tough after that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was times we'd seen just 1 cow or 3 cows, no bulls.
That was me last year. I actually we didn't see any elk. You and Luke were able to go back towards the back because you guys got the motorized, but Mike and I were stuck towards the front or as far as we wanted to bike in, and we didn't even see deer.
Yeah, it's
rough. It was crazy.
And it's a rough bike in too.
Well, what sucked is that the year before we were like raging bulls like every single day. So that was very frustrating. And to have like a new bow hunter and just hunter period and not be able to like really show him what elk hunting is, like have an opportunity. And I mean, like an opportunity for me is like when you actually get in like a little calling match or get a game plan on hunting the elk. You know, like we didn't see anything, we didn't hear anything. It wasn't a smoky year. Like there was hardly any smoke. We've had like the last 4 or 5 years where you couldn't see 30 feet in front of you because the smoke was so thick. So yeah, last year sucked. At least early season. Late season, I was on elk every single day, so that was cool.
It seems like every year there's something that happens. Either it's the wildfire smoke, or maybe the rut hasn't started, or it's too hot. I mean, there's always something, right? Every single year, it seems like that for me. But the year that you shot your 6, was it 6x6 or 5x6?
No, it was a 5x5.
The 5x5 year, we didn't see anything for
almost a week.
5 days. Yeah, at least. And we're like, man, where the heck are they? Excuse me. And then they just popped out. There was just a herd that came out of the trees. We spotted them way up on a hillside, and we decided let's make a game plan. And we went after them, and it worked out. And so it went from like 0 to hero, and in a split second. And that's how a lot of seasons are. You'll spend all the time running around, and I don't feel bad for Mike. I'm glad he didn't see anything last year, even though it's kind of discouraging.
No, I do too, because number one, now he knows what it's like to hunt. And I took him bear hunting too, and like he was kind of gifted a little candy bar there because within the first 2 hours we spotted a bear, and I was like, I'm thinking in my head like, this crap doesn't happen. Like,
he thinks you're the master hunter. He's like, hey Dave, when are we going back?
No, he's on me. Yeah, we're going scouting this weekend.
Oh,
bear.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll be doing that and probably shooting coyotes this weekend. Back in the
it's always a good time
backcountry area that he needs to test some gear, and I got a new pack that is not a normal pack company that I would use or that I have been using. So I need to see what it feels like with weight in it. I already have some cons for it. From
turkey season?
Yeah, just in general. So I got an XO pack. I'm sorry. I had an XO pack.
You still have it, though.
I still have it, yeah. I bought a Kuiu pack only because I needed some more space. So when I go into the backcountry, I want to make sure that I have enough space for, mainly it was food. So I had a 3500 XO pack, and it was like busting at the seams when I would pack in for, like 5 to 6 days.
Let me clarify that. His bag was literally stretched out, but the seams never broke.
No.
Yeah, it was.
No. The XO pack is.
I'm shocked it held together.
It's built like if you have the money to spend, you're not going to go wrong with an XO pack. So for me this year, I was looking at XO. I was waiting for the K4 to come out. It was priced too high for my budget. And that's just me. It just cost too much. So I was like, okay, well, I looked at Stone Glacier and some other packs, and they were all right around that same price. Kuiu came in a couple $100 cheaper for about the same amount of space. But, so I have a 5500 Kuiu pack, great pack. It fits great. Everything's nice, but when you go from like XO to Kuiu, you're going to find out that the hip belt is not as wide. So it doesn't hug you as much, which I really liked. And then I think the foam straps are not as thick, but I haven't really, for turkey season, it didn't really matter. There's no weight in there. So I really want to see what it feels like with some weight in there. So I'm actually going to go, I'm only going for the weekend, but I'm going to pack super heavy. So I'm actually bringing like a 2-person trekking pole tent, which...
Take that 20-pound club right there.
No, I ain't doing that. I'm hiking in pretty far. But I'm gonna bring like extra food, like maybe pack for 4 days, even though I'm only gonna be out there for a couple days, just to put some weight in there. I want to be in between about 42 and 45 pounds. My elk season, if I was just to do an elk season, the backcountry, be out there for 8 days, it's going to be closer to 52 pounds. Right around there. I do about a pound of food a day. Like with all my stuff, it's about a pound. So yeah, this weekend is going to be testing some gear. And then, got my 308 hand loads all freaking dialed over the weekend, over Father's Day weekend. So that was cool.
Yeah, I saw you shooting that.
Yeah.
You made it to the range?
Made it to the range. Dialed it to 100 yards and then shot at 200 yards. The only thing that I would like to do is I have a chrono now, so I know what my arrow speed is, and I want to know what my bullet speed is. I used a Hornady app, and it tells you like what your MOA is. Mm-hmm. So I want to get it chronoed so I can dial that all into my app and really see how far I can shoot and how accurate the app is.
Because you're adjusting your turret. You have the adjustable turrets with the zero stop, right?
Yep. Well, it doesn't have a zero stop, so I need to make sure as long as I go up, I need to make sure how far I go back. So if I have to go up 8 MOA, I need to go back down, make sure it goes right back down to 0, because it will go past.
Oh, okay.
I have it's a cheaper Vortex Viper scope. Great scope, but it does not have a zero stop. So I have to really pay attention.
Do you know what elevation you can gain through one full rotation?
For one MOA or one
rotation of the turret?
I don't know.
That'd probably be a good.
I don't know yet.
Just because it's, there should be 360 clicks in there.
Well, one MOA is 4 clicks.
A quarter, so it's a quarter MOA.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see. So it usually goes to 9. So there's 90 clicks?
Well, it all depends on the scope. Some of them are like 15, some of them are whatever. And then like the ones that have zero stops on them, sometimes when you go click all the way up to their thing, some of them have a button to where you can go more. So it all just depends on like what scope you have.
You definitely don't want to know where your zero's at after that. You're like, I don't know if it's 2 clicks or...
Most of them have the zero stop when they have that. So you just crank it back down. It's back down to 0.
Oh, nice.
So mine is just not built like that. The next scope that I want to get is definitely going to have.
Well, hopefully 0. You just get them in close. You don't have to worry about.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
You shoot them at 0. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
So this is all with like this whole thing with Mike when we saw the bear the first day. It was at like 485 yards. And I was like looking at my rifle. I was like, well, I know it can shoot that far, but I'm not going to Kentucky windage this thing,
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to guess what 48 inches is over the top of this bear. Like, I'm just not going to do that. I'd rather have my turret set up to where I can just spin my turret to where it needs to go for the MOA and just have my crosshairs on there. And I'm not floating around anywhere. Like, okay, I think that pine cone up there is 2 feet above this bear.
You're not stacking pins on your rifle?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not going to do that.
You'll make it more fun, too, when you have that opportunity and you're confident in what your rifle can do, and everything's lined up just right. Mm-hmm. Your adjustment's perfect, and you make the shot. It's just going to be such a confident thing when you squeeze the trigger, and like this should hit on target.
Yeah.
Unless there's a super gusty wind in the middle, I can't see, or it's something else.
Yeah, something crazy. And I don't have a Kestrel whatever that's going to test what the wind is doing or whatever. It's going to be a old school, grab some dirt or use my wind checker. But I mean, all those type of variables come into play. But
that's why you got
when
more
you're shooting
bullet.
canyon to canyon.
Yeah, you never know. But at least you take some of that guesswork out of it.
Well, what's nice though too is that I built this load, this round. So that was probably the most exciting part about it, was that I actually built the round that's firing out of the rifle, and it didn't blow up in my face. So I did something right.
Well, that's a bonus, and I had those same thoughts when I first started reloading. You put that round in the chamber, and you get ready, and you have to give it
the first one was kind of like
you know.
So before
it's
I
always
did
a bad shot.
Before I did it, I actually did like the
dry fire.
Yeah, and then loaded one in. I jacked it, and I was like, "Here we go, boom!" And Mike's sitting right next to me, and he was like, "Dude, that sounded like it shot pretty nice." And I was like, "Yeah, it actually did. Shot really good." And I was like, "It's almost dead center on my first shot."
Yeah.
So I was like, "That's nice," because I did have my rifle was already set up for just a regular manufactured load, Hornady round. I had that zeroed. I think I was using the ELDXs, 168 grain ELDX. And then these are, the bullet is a Hornady AMAX round. Shot great, man. I mean, it was flying straight. So
yeah, it should. Once you put it on fur, man, you'll find out the rest.
Yeah,
it should be.
And it might happen this weekend.
Oh yeah, I mean, you shoot a coyote with it.
Yeah,
then you'll know. Or I mean, it'll kill a coyote. You killed one last year with that rifle, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll definitely do the trick. We're talking about the distance when you get your adjustment.
Yeah, so I want to chrono. Yeah, I want to chrono it. I did kind of like a little fake adjustment. So I had it set up for the ELDX, and then now with this one and the powder the powder grains that I actually got it to, it is shooting a bit slower, but I'm still thinking it's going to put a good punch to it. It might be about 80 to 100 feet per second slower.
What were you? But I'm not sure. What did you think it was at?
Well, when I shot, it was about 6 inches low at 200, but at 100 it was almost dead on. So I'm thinking maybe just over 2,800 feet per second, or maybe a little bit slower, because I had it in the ELDXs. I think are 2880 or 2890 or something like that. So I don't know. It's got to be somewhere close.
Well, that's a good speed for a 308. 2890 it's going. That's moving.
Yeah, but I'm thinking these are probably maybe just at 2,800, maybe just a little bit under. But I mean, I won't know until I chrono it. So once I get it chronoed, then I'll know where I'm at.
Bring the chrono with you this weekend.
I'm thinking about it. I might pack it in. It's super light.
Well, do it. I mean, you can do it down by where the truck's at. Where you guys start to hike.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Well, I could. Yeah, because there's actually like the nice backdrop.
Or you could pull over at one of the other log roads down there and just give a test fire to see. You're just trying to get the chrono speed. You don't have
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot probably 3 rounds, and then do an average of the 3 rounds.
Yeah, it's always good. Yeah, I have my chrono speed for my 270 WSM, and I can't remember what it is, but they're all within 2 feet per second. So
that's super good.
Yeah,
yeah. Like if you're within 20, you're doing pretty good. If you're within like 2 or 3, that's like, you're stacking them in there.
Yeah,
that's a really good. That's a good build round.
Yeah, when we test fired, they were all the same pretty much. They might have gone up 1 foot and then down 3, but the average was like 2. So it was like, don't have to worry about anything there.
No.
And I have a stack of them loaded. I mean, I probably have more than 100 of those rounds loaded.
Nice.
So I haven't even thought about loading that gun for a while, because I know it's already, everything's perfect for it. And that was actually the first rifle I started reloading in 2005, I think is when I got that rifle. And so then I started reloading. Brandy's grandfather actually taught me how to reload. And then I just went from there, and same rifle. I loaded friends' rifles. They all shot good. Loaded your 300 Win Mag.
Yeah, my first deer ever I shot was with a load that you did for me.
Yeah, my fingerprints went through that critter.
Yeah, no, for real.
yeah, it was like, when you're putting the bullets in, you're literally touching each one on a single stage. So.
Yep, and that's what I got too. Single stage for everything. So I mean, everything's like built. Freaking doing the powder, doing every single little thing. Everything's perfect. The only thing that I was having a trouble with, and it might be because of the bullet, I'm not sure, because of that Hornady plastic tip. They weren't like all measuring the same. They were off like a couple
overall length.
Yeah. So but when I shot it through the rifle, they all shot pretty much damn near the same. And I mean, I had a few of them like kissing each other, like keyholing. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, so the case overall length when you press the bullet and you seat it farther inside the cartridge, it's going to change the pressure inside the cartridge.
Right.
So that's just going to be a variable, and you're going to see when you chronograph the variation in the temperature or the feet per second. Mm-hmm. That's what that's going to change, and you know it's probably minuscule. I mean, I used to be super particular about this stuff, and maybe I just got used to doing it a certain way, or I haven't gotten less particular. I just know that when I'm at, let's just say 2.75, right? 2.750, okay? 750 thousandths of an inch. I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm at case overall length's 2.750, or I can break it down to 75 or 750 thousandths of an inch. If my next one's at 752 thousandths of an inch, I'm not adjusting that press. You know, the seating die stays.
See, that's kind of where I'm at. It's only like 1 or 2 off of like whatever my overall length, because I made my own overall length. I just took another bullet and was like, oh yeah.
Oh, you didn't use a micrometer?
Yeah, I had one.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you might want that.
No, I had one.
Yeah.
And well, when I first put the die in there, I had to try to figure out what the length was going to be. So I did a couple test ones, mm-hmm. was pressing it in, and then I'd measure that one, then I'd measure the one that was already built. And I was like, okay, well, I need to press this down a little bit more, and then, you know, I kind of just gauged them with a couple different rounds.
Yeah.
I jacked one in, you know, make sure that everything went through the rifle. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, here we go. Just start going to town.
Yeah. When you adjust a seating die, if you're doing it to a factory load, like if you had a factory load you're using, you had the same bullet you're trying to load for that bullet, you would take the live factory load and set it in your seating die with the seating portion, the adjustment, all the way up. Then you tighten that down to the bullet when it's in the press, tighten the nut, and then you can press the one that you're trying to seat a bullet into, then measure it. You know, that's the easiest way to get close, because that screw's like 3 inches long.
Oh, dude, it's long. Yeah.
And I got a scar from that screw on top of the die.
Were you reaching for something?
I turned around. I think it's my left arm, but it cut the hell out of me.
Holy crap. I got myself, it didn't really like break the skin or anything, but I went to reach for something and it just like zhink up my arm. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was pretty nasty. Like it could have did some damage.
Yeah, it's nice when you get everything dialed in finally and you know exactly what it's going to be. And then you could pump out, 100 rounds and, go to town.
I do about 20 at a time.
Yeah, then you get a good day in. So we did. Did you ever load any like variations in your powder weights yet?
No, I didn't. I got on a couple different, I don't know if it'd be a forum, but I just Googled powder grains, most common powder grain for 308 or something like that, and it landed on the one that I was thinking of.
So what do you get, 46 something or
43.6? Oh, okay. So 43.6.
Yeah, and it's 150 grain bullet.
168.
168. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, it shoots nice, man, and it was seriously like one MOA down and to the right from a factory load that I was using.
Yeah, perfect, man.
Yeah, so I just barely did a couple clicks and boom, dead center.
Now you can make your bullets cheaper. After your initial investment's over and you get all your money back down the road, you're 1,000 rounds in. Good news is that ammunition's kind of coming down a little bit.
A little bit. It depends on what you're firing. I mean, a lot of people now are getting into those PRC rounds. And so we're kind of going on a tangent here. We're going all over the place.
We're just excited.
Whatever. Season's coming up. Big game season is coming up. We have Bear in August, and that's like the starting of like our big game season. And I'm jacked, man. I'm ready. Like, I've been working on this round since last year, since I couldn't shoot a bear because it was out too far from my effective range. Now I'm starting to close in on that. Like, I'm starting to take the steps to closing in on being able to shoot further out and making my effective range. I really want to be efficient at 400 to 500 yards 500 yards would be my poke, but I want to be able to shoot that far. I want to be able to do that. So I've been taking the steps to try to get to that point. But going with some of these rounds that are super expensive, I was trying to convince Mike on getting a 6.5 PRC because he wants like an all-around bullet that's going to do great. And I was like, man, I've been seeing, Samung drop an elk with a 6.5 PRC, like stoning them. And he was like, oh, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. We went over to our local Sportsman's Warehouse, and I'm looking at 6.5 PRC rounds, and nozzlers are like $107 for 20. And I was like, holy moly, man, that's super expensive. And so then I just started looking at all the PRC rounds, and they're fairly expensive. So then I had to rethink because I was going to build one.
Yeah.
Like a nice bolt action PRC, something or other. I don't know if I was going to do a 7 PRC or the 300 PRC or whatever. I already have a 6.5. I don't need another one. And then I started looking at these prices, and I'm just like, gosh. I was like, I am not spending. Number one, I would probably spend that kind of money on those rounds. But I'm married. So trying to tell my wife that I just spent $200 on rounds because I'm not just going to buy one box. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to buy a couple. Got to go out, test them, and do all this other stuff. That ain't going to fly.
Yeah, you can run through quite a bit of dough just by going out and trying to figure out if this is what you want to do.
Yeah, well, shoot. So this past weekend, Father's Day weekend, I went out and shot my 308. I went through 20 rounds. Number one, it was fun to shoot. And then I was, trying to figure out some stuff with the turret and all this other stuff. But I wasted 20 rounds. I could have stopped at 5, but I went through 20.
But it's fun. It's hard to stop at 5.
It was awesome because I was just like, it's firing. Yes, yeah. It didn't blow up in my face. I was excited.
Yeah.
And then Mike shot it too. And yeah, so I was pretty jacked. And, if I'm going to spend that kind of money on a rifle, I want to shoot it. And I think some of these rounds are just getting ridiculously priced. But, I mean, people are out there, they're buying it. They love it. So
supply and demand.
I don't have deep pockets like that.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I usually tell people when I want to shoot their rifle at the range.
What's that?
It's like, man, that thing sounds like it shoots good. Kind of give them some props.
That works every time.
They're like, oh, well, yeah, you want to shoot it? You want to shoot my 50? Oh, yeah. It's like, yeah, no problem, man. I'm not buying a $10,000 rifle, but I'll shoot yours,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you got another round, man? That one felt so good, that trigger. Kind of work your way into shooting 5 or 6 of them,
Yeah, the 50s are fun.
Yeah, that's good. So we're on live. We're going to do our first giveaway of the night. So I had the phone up here. We are going to give away the Amp Black. This is going to be our first giveaway of the night. So if you're on YouTube, we're recording this live and on YouTube at the same time. What we're going to do is, all you have to do is reply, give a thumbs up on the live video. We're going to be on here. We're kind of changing the rules a little bit, but because it's late at night and there may not be that many people on YouTube that are subscribed, it's 9:30. If you reply to this live by 10 o'clock, we're going to give this one away. And we should be done recording. So we're going to have 2 more live videos up, and then we will have those on there too. So if you just reply to all 3, then you're in the hat for the winning. Pretty easy.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about black bear hunting this fall.
Nice. All right, everybody, we are back from break. I know it's only been about a minute and a half for you, but that's
or how it goes. Second. It's like time zone warp.
Well, so for the podcast, yeah, they only get a few seconds, but on YouTube, there is a Burpaw commercial during our break. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, section of the broadcast is brought to you by Burpaw, burpaw.com.
Use Ridge15 at checkout to receive a sweet discount.
That was weird. But yes, use Ridge15 at checkout at burpaw.com and you will receive 15% off.
Yeah, nothing like a discount.
Yeah, you got to like those discounts.
You got to save all the money you can. This is expensive, for the most part, a hobby, but also a good way to provide nutritious food that's steroid-free.
I wouldn't even say it's necessarily a hobby. I mean, it can be for some people. I think for you and I, we're past that. We're past hobby. This is like life.
Yeah. Have you seen my closet in my house? Those clothes have dust on them. Like from sitting.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I even wear this stuff? It's either like a work clothing or a hunting clothing or a hunting brand of clothing. It's either a Vortex shirt or Sika shirt or, everything
whatever
else. Yeah, I have
Kuyu, I got Black Eagle shirts, I got
it's just there's
Northwest Mountain Challenge shirts.
You hardly ever see regular clothes. If you see me in a polo,
something's going down. I mean, there's an event.
I am professional, so if there's something that requires those clothes, I try to be dressed for the occasion. But normally people you get what you get with me, and I think that's the same for a lot of us. But it becomes a lifestyle. And a lot of us are raised in the lifestyle. Myself, I wasn't raised in the hunting lifestyle, but me and my friends, we came up together in it. And we've created this lifestyle for ourselves. But it's probably the same for most of us, where we were either born into it, we've inherited it from a friend, we've developed it together. And, the times you spend together in the woods or in the boat or in the blind or wherever you're spending your time. Mm-hmm. It's the most memorable time that I feel like I have outside of family and outside of other hard, difficult times. There's famous guy says that, the fun times of the roller coaster ride, you never remember them because they're not like definitive. And then the cold, miserable times when you're shaking for your life and on the verge of hypothermia or dying, you look back and laugh. And you can never forget that. And that's a lot of this stuff to us. Talking about...
It pushes you to your limit. Depending on, like, obviously how you hunt. How I like to hunt is, grueling and hard and put in the miles and stuff like that. I like that. The pain in the hunt, I like. Not a lot of people are like that, but I like that. The harder it is, the more I push, but the more I push, the more frustrated I get. Like when stuff doesn't happen, like I get pretty frustrated, but I mean, that's just who I am and that's just how I operate. But yeah, I like it. I like hard. I didn't get into hunting because it was easy.
First year, was it your first year that you shot that deer? Your first deer or second year?
So my first year, I started hunting with my brother-in-law.
Donovan.
Yeah. Our very first year, we basically only had a weekend. That was it. I went out for a weekend, saw the biggest blacktail I've ever seen in my life, and where we were hunting was where I grew up dirt bike riding, and they sectioned off a large part of it to no motorized vehicles, and I'd seen that when I was out there dirt bike riding. So I was like, man, that'd be an awesome place to hunt because I'd always see critters out there before I, was even thinking about being a hunter. So I was like, well, I'm just going to park at this parking lot and just walk across the street over here and go up this hill and park it and see what comes walking through. And our first morning, we're rifle hunting. We see some does. So my very first time ever hunting, I had a camera in my hand. So I'm filming these does walking around, and so I put the camera down and I look up, and all of a sudden there's just this huge buck. I don't know, it wasn't very far. It was probably under 100 yards. And as I'm like picking up my rifle and like getting it all steady, someone wrecked on their dirt bike or quad or something. And there's big crash. People, their buddies were like, "Oh my gosh," and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden this deer just takes off. And I was like, crap.
Yeah.
That was like my only opportunity at a deer because I only had a couple days. You know what? I went by myself the next weekend, but I got super sick. So I didn't even hunt. So I got there really late, set up camp, ate something, and the very next morning I was vomiting everywhere. So I was like, yeah, it was terrible. And then the next year, that's when you built me the 300 Win Mag round. Was there light for 15 minutes and shot my first buck.
Yeah.
And then I said that was too easy. I really did. So I was like, talking to you and was like, man, rifle hunting is pretty easy. And, and you're like, well, what makes it so easy? And it's like, well, I can just point and shoot. It's going to be dead. Obviously, being a new hunter and all that, it's not that easy. But it was for me at that point because my second year, I saw something legal and I shot it and it was dead. It was that easy. Like, it was easy for me. So he was like, well, you can always archery hunt. He was like, that's not easy. So sure enough. Then
the struggle ensued.
Yeah, sure enough. No, not really.
Was it the first year you shot that buck?
That first year I shot my largest buck.
Yeah.
To date, still.
Yeah, that was a good time hunt over there. I love hunting Eastern Washington, and you being from the west side of Washington State, it is literally a jungle, a rainforest, pretty much.
If you are not from the Northwest, which we do have a lot of people that watch our YouTube and listen to our podcasts that are not from the Northwest. I'm going to date myself a little bit, but if you were to ever watch Predator 1, that's what we hunted.
Predator 1. Well, let's just define Predator. Predator is a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, from the 80s.
You have to go out there with the Gatling gun. Get down, black-tailed deer. You probably shoot over the top of them anyway.
Yeah, you'd miss still.
So yeah, it's Western Washington. It's dry in the early season.
Yeah, very crunchy. Very crunchy.
It's thick. There's all sorts of nettles and blackberry vines.
Yeah, the blackberry bushes are 7 to 8 feet tall in some spots. So it's
I lost a deer into a blackberry thicket one time.
Oh, I believe that.
That was up in Eatonville, and that was crazy because I shot this deer. I was going through a little jack fir, little patch of reprod, and it was by the Mashell River. I'm working through this little patch of jack firs, and the nettles had all fallen, so it was really soft. And it was probably the first 10 feet of the trees didn't have nettles on them, just branches. And so I'm working through there, just kind of slowly going, and I see this little ear like up on this little roll of a hill. And I look over, I was like, is that a buck? So I pulled my binoculars up, and I was like, oh shit, it's a buck. And it was I think it was like 2 or 3 points that I saw. I couldn't tell if it was on the same beam because it was like silhouetted each other.
Yeah.
So I saw that. I was like, okay, I got to get to the top of this knob where I can see the body. Because I thought it was on the downhill slope of a hill, but it just continued flat for a little ways, probably like another 30 feet. This buck was bedded in this little jack fir patch. So when I got to the top of that little knob where I could see over it, I never made my full body visible to him, but I just got to where I could draw. Mm-hmm. When I drew, it stood up. And just perfect broadside. I was like, sweet. Shot. Doesn't lurch. Hauls ass. I mean, literally, in those, when the nettles are down, you could see where something clearly goes because it just scrapes them aside. It's nice and wet under there. And I was like, oh, he's run this way. There's just blood everywhere. Probably like 20 feet from where I shot him. He went into these. I mean, there was a hole like the size of a basketball inside this blackberry thicket. And he tucked his head in there and was gone, dude, inside that stuff. Straight, slid into home head first, gone. I mean, he was safe. I looked in there, and we tried getting it. You could try all day to get into that thing, but this is like, those
they make those mazes in there too, man. So it's not just like that one tunnel. Like that one tunnel could take a right or a left or whatever. Like I've crawled through one of those things.
Well, every single every single square foot has a new shoot from a blackberry coming up.
Oh yeah, it's gnarly in there.
And they're as thick around as a baseball bat handle.
Yeah, sometimes you're not coming out of there like fully clothed anymore because
they won't be in one piece. But we could see in for quite a ways, and there's just no possible way to get into there. And I had to call it. I was sick. I was like, oh my gosh, 'cause I had never shot a buck at that point, and I was happy that I had that opportunity.
Oh yeah,
when it happened. And it turned from, good thing
those highs, man, and then you hit that low. That is the one thing about hunting. If you're getting into hunting, or you still, maybe you've been hunting for a while and haven't had an opportunity at that. I mean, that happens. When you shoot something, you're gonna have this super high, but then when you don't recover it, or maybe the shot wasn't as good as you thought it was. Man, those lows suck.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have your buddies, or just the mentality of like, I threw an interception, now it's time to go for another touchdown. Like I got the balls back in my hands and I gotta go for it.
Mental toughness is a big deal.
Yeah. And if you're not mentally tough, you need to get there, or you need to have a buddy that can help get you jacked up again, because those lows suck.
Learning to deal with disappointment can be a reality. It is a reality. Yeah. You'll confront it, but learning to deal with it when it does occur, you replay that, and even to this day, I can feel that feeling. Like, oh man, there's nothing I could have done in that instance to prevent what happened from happening. I'm not depressed about it or anything like that. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be okay. But it sucks because you have such you have set such high expectations over the preseason and the planning periods and all the things you put forth throughout the year, just to get to the point where you have a shot opportunity and it happens, and they're not happening very often, at least in Western Washington. But I don't know a single hunter that goes out and is like, yep, I'm gonna have 5 or 6 different shot opportunities with my bow this year. There's
people, we can't say never, but there's people out there that just got the honey hole.
Well, I don't know very many.
Right. Yeah.
There's people I know that do get animals every year.
Well, shoot, we were there. We were doing it. We had blacktail down for probably several years, and it just seemed like this last year just was terrible for opportunities.
I'd passed on every deer I saw because
I missed one
because I was holding for a buck, and I had one that was like 15 feet. I mean, it was like, I was so tempted just because it was so close. I was like, this is like in the hand guarantee with a bow. You're just like, ugh. But I had to let her walk, and I'm the doe-bozer. I'll blow them over, whatever.
I was fully drawn on a doe and misyarded it. It was actually like up a hill, and it kind of rolled up as it was going. So just the features kind of like messed my judgment up. I shot for 35 yards and she was probably at like 27.
Yeah.
It was just weird, man. The sun was kind of back behind her, there's like all this weird, just the lighting, isn't great. And I was already fully drawn. So I didn't want to draw down, get my rangefinder, range it, and then try to draw again. Because we were both in the open. Like I'm open.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking right at me. I shot. It didn't even flinch, man. It just like crack, crack. You can hear my arrow just like crack, 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 crack. And then it finally was like looked where the cracking was, and it was like jogged away. Like, oh crap.
Yeah, no threat. Yeah, I had that same experience with that cow last year, and that was
that sucked.
I don't know what happened. I just don't know.
Sucked.
It was that was a rough one because we let's not go back over that. Anyhow, let's jump out of that. Let's talk about fall black bear.
Yes.
We don't have a spring season here now, so we have to redouble, and triple down, double our efforts into fall black bear hunting season, which is only 35 days. Is it the 20th? It's 40 days. 40 days from now.
Yeah, August 1st, and it's open for the whole state of Washington. So it used to be split in half. So like one side would start on the 1st, and then the other side would start on the 15th, and that would kind of like flip-flop them, like the dates. But now, since we don't have a spring bear, it is now open to the whole state August 1st, which is awesome.
And they did kick Western Washington. They did have Western Washington starting on the 15th of August.
This year?
No, they used to.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The West Side used to be the late starter. Then now it's back to the 1st.
Yeah, for the whole state, yeah. It was like that last year.
I honestly, I don't want to get too involved in the weeds with the black bear, spring bear thing.
No, I mean, it is what it is.
People do enjoy people enjoy that hunt. And it's a great time. I mean, it's not a very successful hunt. It's probably has the lowest success rates per tag of any hunt available that you could possibly get. So if they were going to, if you had to make your choice between 15 extra days of hunting opportunity in August versus a couple weekends in April or May, thank you very much. In my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, I really enjoyed that spring hunt because it gives you something to look forward to before regular big game season starts.
Yeah.
In that
kind of let it spread out a little bit too. And we like to turkey hunt.
Yeah, turkey.
But when you draw that spring bear tag, we're not turkey hunting unless you're, filling that spring bear tag.
It's also,
which never happened for me.
And where we would go spring bear hunting, it's also a great time to do some shed hunting while you're at it.
Oh yeah,
because those elk will drop those sheds. I remember looking for a bear for a month and a half and seeing probably 600 cow elk.
Oh, easy.
In not realizing that half of those were probably bulls.
Yeah.
Because right at the end of May, you start to see those cows that you always seen in those places, but they had these little like club sticks on their head, right? Yeah. Well, they look like like a caveman club because they're just so palmated. Yeah. And this area had it's a very limited draw and
super limited.
It's so limited that there's only like one tag that they give away for archery, one or two tags for rifle, one for muzzleloader.
Yeah.
And you have to buy a access permit to the land, and then you're entered to win
the drawing.
So you're one of like, it's probably pretty good compared to other stuff.
A few thousand, yeah.
Yeah. But that's still not great odds. And if you got that tag, you were probably going to shoot a 350 plus bull.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's a given.
No problem. Yeah. And if you don't shoot one that's 350, you didn't hold out long enough because they're monsters in this area. Straight monsters. Like I checked the YouTube, there's one on there. And he's got about 8 cows with him down on the river. I think it's in one of our shorts on YouTube. Check it out because that one was probably just under 350. He was probably about 330-ish bull.
This year with the fall black bear hunt, I'm going to spend a lot of time just enjoying nature, looking for bears and spending more time collecting, I guess I don't want to say collecting my soul, but in a way,
just reconnecting with, with whatever, with the earth or whatever.
Well,
with yourself.
I don't spend, I'm not big on huckleberry picking, but if I could take an hour and do some huckleberry picking, just sit back and have a little cup of them and enjoy it, enjoy it more and take my time and not move as fast, because I've seen bears in those huckleberry fields. They're hard to spot, because the huckleberries will be 5 feet tall. And they're moving through there. So you really have to take your time and work around it and then check different angles. And I've always liked to get on like an adjacent hillside and look into a huckleberry patch, or like a side hill and look in, and then try to work around the other side and look in from the other side, because a lot of times they're in there and you don't see them because they're just below the brush.
Yeah.
So I've had pretty good chance or luck spotting them that way. Never taken one that way.
So the area that I'll be hunting, you're more than welcome to come to. This one, they're more or less like busting stumps. The huckleberries don't come in till mid to late August. Not like down in the other area that we go to. They kind of come in sooner. I don't know why, but it seems like they come in a little bit sooner.
It's more towards east. I guess it's more southeast.
This is east, but it's more central.
Yeah.
Central Washington. Yeah, I don't know why they come in a little bit later in the year, but
could just
maybe snowfall or something.
Could be the slope too.
But yeah, usually that's how we caught the bear the early fall season, like the very beginning of August, because I just heard a stump sounded like it was getting mutilated. It's just freaking getting ripped apart. And I was like, man, that really sounds like a bear, tearing up a stump. Put my 15s on the freaking tripod. I basically just went right to the sound and saw a bear. I was like, Mike, I see a bear. And he's like, no way, dude, we just got here. And I'm like, it's right there. And all I saw was its big old monster head. Gnawing on a stump.
Scramble, try to get in position. Oh, shoot, get the thing.
Well, no, it was more or less like, that's super far. Yeah. I was like, we got to try to get somewhere else. And yeah, it just never panned out. But it was still really cool. It was like, right when we sat down at our glassing spot, spotted a bear. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's rare to have happen, As many times as I've seen a bear in one spot, I've always gone back. I'm like, there's a reason why they're there. And I'll go back to that same spot like 15 times. Don't see anything, And I'm like, God, I could have swore.
But see, it's not like
swore he was going to be there this time, And I just get amped up on the way. I'm like, oh yeah,
it's like one of those things though. It could have been like a 15-day cycle, It's like they don't come back for who knows how long.
They work their loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn, man, I can feel that feeling. Like God.
That's what's so exciting about this time right now, because it's kind of like you're either fishing, crabbing, doing something in the water, or you're out predator hunting. And right now it's really just coyotes. It's a good time to go out and do that too. So,
well, I'm when I talk about this, I pretty much forget about the fishing and crabbing, but we're equally as far from opening of our crab opener here in Washington too, for M810. And so we are.
What waterway is that?
Puget Sound.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm in love with crabbing. I mean, that's it's my favorite thing in the summer, because you just go out in the pier early in the morning, and we're out there.
Drop your crab pots and
it's amazing because, the city where we go, it's a city. I mean, Tacoma, they have these piers out there.
Yep.
We go out there and it is 4 o'clock in the morning, and we'll be out there and sun's coming up. It's clear enough you could see all the way across the sound, see the other cities on the other side. You drop your crab pot in there and you look around and you're like, why are all these people still asleep? You just look and you're like,
because it's the hustle and bustle life, man. Like this is the one thing about being a hunter or an angler or just an outdoorsman or woman or whatever, however you want to do that. We get to do and see things that other people just are not, number one, willing to do, because they're stuck in that cycle. They're stuck in I got to do this at this time and do this at this. They don't set apart like the time. Just I don't know. For me, relax.
It's relaxing. And we have also Mount Rainier. So where we're at, you can see right down the waterway into the Port of Tacoma. Mount Rainier is super huge, like probably one of the best views in the state from right there. You're going to see all across the valley of Mount Rainier, and the sunrise is just behind that. So you're out there early, and you're like, this is nice. It's cool. You start to see the sunrise, and you look around. There's these tall buildings. They're 30 stories tall, and there's houses everywhere, and there's 3 people on the dock. And I'm like, what in the heck? I know more than 3 people in this city eat crab. I don't want them to be here with me, but it's surprising that they don't use the resource. And, it's a shocker out of several 100,000 people.
Well, I think it's also knowledge, like a lot of people just don't know that they can do that.
Yeah, man.
They don't know like what they can do. What I think.
Well, if it comes to me,
there was a point where I've been fishing my whole life, but there was a point where I wasn't hunting either.
Yeah.
I always wanted to. I didn't, and then until I started like taking the time to research like how to get a hunting license, like how to, do all this stuff. I didn't know either. So, I mean, there's like, people just don't know.
Well, they start to get involved, right? And then they get on Facebook and they're like, oh, here's a squid. Because I do squid jigging, I do salmon fishing, crabbing, bottom fishing, everything I can do. Mm-hmm. I pretty much do, because a lot of that stuff is just 3-4 hours here and there. And we'll go down to the dock, drop some pots, go down to the dock, pull some jigs. go down to the river, catch some salmon. Then you go hunting, and it's like all day, right? So these little intermediate trips are like, they're like your little breath of air before you reach land. You're like, you're just making, all I gotta do is catch my breath. Go down to the bottom, kick off, and catch another breath, and I can keep going, you know. But you get on social media, and there's these groups where they're like Puyallup River salmon fishing, and Cowlitz River fishing, and Puget Sound squid jigging, and crabbing northwest or whatever. And people always go in there like, hey, does anybody know how the squidding has been? How's the salmon fishing on the river? And I'm always like, it's on fire. Yeah, it's on fire. Yeah, right. They never want to believe you, but it's really on fire, right? I just tell them all the time it's on fire.
Or it's really not, and it's on fire.
Yeah,
come on down.
Yeah, that's why I tell them like it's on fire all the time because they just need to get their ass out.
Yeah,
like don't ask online.
Don't rely on everything else. Go do it.
How is the fishing? Shitty, man. Don't show up.
It is crap.
Yeah,
even though I'm limited out.
Yeah, you can get down there and it could be a whole day, and there's a 30-minute window where there's a push of fish, and you know you're just one after another, bing, bing,
and
bing.
Sometimes you have those days where it's just like it's not happening. And you're like, damn. You walk out, and then your buddy stayed that extra 10 minutes. Look what I got,
dude. Yeah,
you son of a gun.
I've had days like that, man. Where my brother will go down and he'll stinking stack kings, and I'm just like, good God.
Dan freaking rips it up, dude.
Yeah, him and his little buddy, his little gang, a fishing gang. they're like a bunch of. He goes fishing with these 20-year-old kids. You know, they just got out of high school, and they don't even think they work yet or anything, for whatever reason. But they just go down there all day and fish, man. It's nuts. So, well, I think it's time. We're gonna call it a night. We'll do one. Yeah. We'll do one more live. We're looking forward to the upcoming season. We have the fall black bear is our big one coming up.
Yeah, so be looking out for some videos with that. We'll be putting together some videos, either if we tag out or not. We're gonna have some black bear content. Hopefully we do tag out. Dave and I are still in the goose egg area for black bears.
Not this year, dude. I'm not gonna say anything. But
so I already made this known. I told my son this, and he actually was like, yeah, right. If I do not get a black bear this year,
don't say it.
My main focus next year is going to be only black bear, and I will not hunt anything else until my black bear tag is filled. So in 2024,
desperate times call for desperate measures.
It's the only animal I haven't really gotten in the state of Washington yet that isn't like I haven't shot a whitetail. It's the only deer I haven't shot is a whitetail, and then a bear or a cougar. I haven't seen one though. I haven't really hunted cougars. I just have a tag for it just in case.
Yeah, it's the one
I haven't actually hunted for a cougar.
It's hard to do, man. I don't know how you would do it.
Probably out calling for a bear and a cougar shows up.
Yeah, I have to call them in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be like
time will come, man. It's just right place, right time. Sticking to it, and you'll tag out. You'll get there.
Yep.
So it'll be fun when it does happen. Just enjoy that moment.
Oh, of course.
Once you put the formula together, you read a book, read Bows and Bears, book, and go from there. You cram all the knowledge you can. Take that information into the woods with you, and put it together.
Yeah, definitely. So 2023 is going to be a big bear push. I was on that kind of program last year. It was kind of weekend warrior in it. This year, though, I did set some time away for August. I don't know if I'm going to take the whole week off or if I'm just going to take like a Thursday, Friday into the weekend off. But I do plan on spending some more time trying to fill this bear tag. Number one, it's a fun hunt. It's during the summer, so you're never going to really be cold. Weather can push in, because I'll be in a mountain range, but it's not anything too crazy. Not anything that you'll see in late October, early November, or December, or something like that. So it's a good hunt. I always have fun.
Did you see that bear that some guy took a picture of on top of Chinook Pass? It's like last week. Freaking monster, dude. Like everybody's like, I wouldn't shoot that. It looks like a grizzly bear. I mean, it had a massive hump on his back.
It was probably a grizz. So Karen actually saw a couple articles up in the Cascades, and there's grizzlies
in the North Cascade. But this is right here, dude. Like heading over to Natchez.
Well, I mean, they can just follow the same mountain range. I mean,
I'm sure they can travel.
A grizz can go wherever the heck they want. What the heck's going to do anything to that?
No, it's about 400. It's about 300 miles from where they say they're at. But I would be highly suspicious of this one. Seeing the picture, you can look it up. I think someone put on Hunting Washington State. But that freaking bear, dude. I mean, he has. This one has a nice smooth slope on it. This sucker had like a hunchback, just like a grizzly, but another animal with a big hunt, like a camel almost. Baby camel.
I've only seen like a few black bears that would have not in our state. That would have like a hump like that, but they're like 600 pound, 400 or 500 to 600 pound black bears, and they do get that big. Not here in our state, but
this one was big, and if it was a huge black bear, someone's going to see that sucker again. It'd probably be a state record, dude. If it's a black bear, it was huge. So, all right, man, let's sign off. Let's get let's get out of here.
Yeah. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you for listening. You can also watch this on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And we are going to be giving away, I believe, all 3 of these on Instagram. We did do a couple lives kind of late. But once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be going live more, and we'll be able to actually do a whole episode live. So
sweet.
Yeah, subscribe. All right, everybody. Have a good one.
Good night.